Check out our Hallmark College highlights, and early in this ball game it was all Brandon Valier. On the second play from scrimmage, the Clark star running back went 63 yards, and just like that, it was 7-0 Cougars. And Valier dominated the first half along with that Clark defense. They got him the ball back, and he went to work. Valier putting up huge numbers tonight. This run gets him into scoring position, and then on the next run he goes 13 yards for a touchdown to make it 14-0 the Clark Cougars. Now the J Mustangs would come right back. This was the trick play when Moses Reynolds goes to Isaiah Lloyd. 63 yards later, it was 14-6. And then a little later, Juan Ortega scores on a 5-yard touchdown run to tie the game. In the second quarter, it was more Brandon Valier, but not before we saw some Trenton Ford run around for 18 seconds on one play. The Clark running game dominating the first half, 220 rushing yards to 35 for Jay. And then Valier showed us that he could not only run with power, but change speeds and change directions. He went in to make it 20-14. The Mustangs had some more tricks up their sleeve, but they ran out of time before the end of the first half, and so the Clark Cougars go to the locker room.
The play that Jay used to score their first touchdown, I said, where did you come up with it? As the band here plays, we'll move out of the way. Guys, give me a second so that the band doesn't drown us out. But I asked Coach Gutierrez, I said,
that his background is in offensive coordination because his formations, his play calling has just been really at a college level.
And really, Don, if you look at his resume, the one thing you can always count on from Coach Gutierrez is he's a miracle worker. He's turned around every program he's ever been at. At Sharpstown, they had losing teams before he turned them around, made them a playoff team. And then when he was out in West Texas, turned that program into a 500 team, and they were woeful before that.
Tristan Cavazos kicking off on our San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo kickoff. Josh Williams on the return. He's brought down by a host of Clark Cougars right there at the 22-yard line. And that's where Moses Reynolds and company will set up shop as the John Jay Mustangs will have the ball to start the third quarter. John Jay trailing the Clark Cougars 20-14 here on Thursday Night Lights. And whatever the coaching staff is telling them right now on the sidelines, don't be surprised if they snap it from there.
I'll tell you, Austin Eatman got him some on that kickoff return. He blew up a couple kids on that.
So they stay in a bit of a, it looked like a swinging game, but now it's just basically turns into 3 wide to the left side for Moses Reynolds. Turns in hands, and Ortega is brought out of bounds right at the 24.
Ball carried by
Langston
Ortega,
Johnson on the tackle.
Langston Johnson.
A lot of Cougars doing a good job stringing this one out, and Langston Johnson, just a sophomore, finishing things up. But look at your hat there to number 99, making a really good play there too. Matthew Miller to force that play even further outside.
2nd and 9. Little flare pass to Ortega. Try to make a guy miss. Maybe made one miss, maybe a gain of 3.
Clark really getting after it on defense right now. A lot of guys swarming to the ball.
Jay continuing to go spread. Spread option is what Gutierrez likes to call it. Not a traditional spread. 3rd down and 7 for the Mustangs. This time he puts the 3 receivers to the right side. Runs a man in motion. And throws back to his left. He's got some room. And a 1st down for the J Mustangs, Isaiah Lloyd. Again, nice misdirection. Move the defense off balance, and that's good for a Baptist Health System 1st down.
You called it, Don. That's exactly what it was. They had everybody looking like they were going to go right with it. Flipped it on back to the left, and got just enough of a block outside to pick up the sticks.
Good job of putting the speed in space one-on-one. All you have to do is make one guy miss. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. As Reynolds keeps himself, he gets the 40 across the 40. Gain of about 4. Maybe 5. 2nd down and about 6 yards for the Mustangs.
We were talking about this at halftime, Dom, off camera. How good are these guys going to be with all these sophomores that Jay's running out there in a couple of years? With a guy like Moses is going to really have a chance to grow up, really getting his feet wet each and every week out here. It's just a sophomore.
Moses fires and hits the defender, I believe, in the back. Zach Wood was all over the coverage. So a quick hitter from Reynolds, and Reynolds almost had himself a pick.
3rd and 6 from the Mustang 41.
Wood rather, Zach Wood almost had a pick. And not just learning any offense, Chuck, as sophomores, but having to digest calculus. You know, I mean, this is not your typical high school offense to go out there and run and execute as a sophomore. Nice job with Reynolds pitching to Ortega. Gets close to the 45, but he's going to be short.
Ball carried by Juan Ortega.
In their own end of the field, the Mustangs are going to elect to punt it away.
And that's one of the things Coach Gutierrez was telling us, is that, you know, that's the one benefit he has of having a young signal caller, is that he can kind of mold him how he wants to mold him.
Yeah, imagine how adept he's going to be at this offense by the time he's a senior. Kylie Hines will punt it away to Christian Ariano, who's back for the Cougars. Nice kick. Inside the 15, and Ariano will call for a fair catch, and that's where the Cougars will have it. When we come back on Thursday Night Lights, it's Clark 20 and John Jay 14. And we're back on Church's Chicken Thursday Night Lights on the CW35. And on your screen, you see the other game going on tonight. Seguin and Kyle Lehman tied up 14-all at the half. It's 1st and 10 for Trenton Ford and Clark Cougars. And Brandon Valier gets the ball again, as expected. Good for a 1-yard gain.
Ball carried by Brandon Valier.
One other game going on up the road in San Marcos. The Unicorns lead the Rattlers 21-0, that one at the half. As Valier gets closer to 200 yards rushing, he's got 193 on the ground so far. We've still got a quarter and a half to play.
You know, Coach Gutierrez telling David Chancellor at halftime that he'd like to wrap up a little better, but I think when you've got a ball carrier as talented as number 43 is, you got to bring a lot of guys to the party. You know, give yourself some opportunities to bring them down with multiple guys.
Ford keeps, bounces it outside, puts his head down and gets the 20-yard line, maybe the 22. That'll be short of a first down, and Clark will have to kick it away.
Clark possession, 3rd and 4 from the Cougar 21-yard
See,
line.
Valier's got all 3 of the Cougars' touchdowns in addition to his 193 yards on 19 carries.
You know, Coach McGee told us earlier this week that they were going to try to throw the ball a little bit more, but I think with the way this game has kind of taken on its own little personality, they obviously haven't had to do much of that. But you wonder at some point if they're going to try to put it up top and make something happen in the air.
Yard marker was wrong on the scoreboard and the stick, so it's 3rd down and 4. They're picking up the first down is Ford, whose pass is complete to Alex Balfour. And he's got to bat this Hell System first down.
Pass complete to Alex
You know, when you run the
Balfour.
ball as much as Clark does, obviously a play like the boot really can work well for a team, and that was wide open for an easy pitch and catch, and Clark's first completion of the night.
We talked about earlier how Valier sets up so much because you're so worried about him. All it took was a little play action fake to him to free up the tight end and give the Cougs a first down as Ford keeps and is brought down, lunges for another yard or two. Darren Howell there to make the tackle for the Mustangs.
Big ups to Chris Salas right there, number 7, for blowing that play up
Cougar 44-yard line.
almost at the snap. He beat his man off the edge and almost ran right into him, but only Ford's athletic ability allowed him to pick up at least a couple of yards on the play as opposed to a negative play.
You get the sense that the Cougs now, understanding what the Mustangs are capable of offensively, are content with running clock and keeping us on the ground. Ford had a chance there to pitch it to Valier, but keeps him brought down by Salas, who again, for the second play in a row, does a great job.
No question. You know, he was breathing down the ball carrier's neck on the last play, and made a heck of a play in the open field because we've seen how elusive Ford can be when given the opportunity to be in space.
I've not said it yet, Chuck. I've been battling it all night, not wanting to say something about Ford against the Mustangs and putting together the Ford Mustang. Ford, looking to throw it, fires deep, got a man, overshot him, intended for Ramani Bettis, his explosive receiver who leads the Cougars in receptions this year. He's got 12 for 209 yards, averages 17 yards a catch. And he had his man beat on the post, just airmailed it a little bit, did Trenton Ford.
You know, when you don't throw the ball that much, it's tough for a quarterback to get in rhythm and then make a play like that downfield. And you got to give Ford a lot of credit. Hung in the pocket and took a wicked shot the second he released the football.
Sam Carter's going to kick it to Josh Williams. Isaiah Lloyd also back there. That ball is kicked short of the 30, and it'll be down there by the Cougars. And the J Mustangs will have it on their own 31 when we come back. Still trailing by 6. Clark 20, John Jay 14 on Thursday Night Lights. Right after he turned down the opportunity to be the first Secretary of State.
See, I thought it was named after John Jay, the center fielder for the Cardinals. So I learned something tonight.
Home of the great Thomas Lott. With Wishbone quarterback playing for Barry Switzer, Oklahoma.
Coach Gutierrez, you know, new to the program, but really understands the history of the school. He said, you know, we want to fight like, even going back to Coach Larry Poland when he had teams, you know, he understands the guys that have been before him, and he's really wanting to take this program and maintain and have some of the great teams that James had in years past. Sammy Morris.
Sammy Morris.
Big-time J running back, played in the NFL for over a decade.
Texas Tech and Buffalo and Patriots, among others. Omar Perez getting some speed in space right there.
Second and 4, Mustang 38.
The great Scott Ankrum. Played at TCU, played for the John Jay Mustang. Oh, there's some speed in space. Ortega across midfield. First down. Tackled by Luis Barrera, but not before a pickup of 22 yards by Juan Ortega.
Boy, when this kid saw the hole, he hit it quick, didn't he?
His best run of the night. He's got the Mustangs on the move.
Jay giving Clark a little of its own medicine with the run. Well, right between the tackles.
This time Reynolds is going to keep it. He's got some room. Reynolds to the 30. Flag on the play. He's out at the 15. This may be against Clark, though, with some sort of hands to the face.
Carried by Moses Reynolds.
24 yards on the pickup. Jay's number 72, Bobby Seals, lost his hat. And this might be a hands to the face, or then again, it could be on Jay.
On the offense, 10-yard foul, spot, 10-yard penalty for the spot foul. Still first down.
See, what you assume, they always told me.
That's okay. We've all done it a time or two sitting in these chairs.
Wow. Clark has had a couple of those plays that went for big yardage, all for naught. And haven't seen too many flags down
20 from the
for
50-yard line.
for the J Mustangs. 72 was holding on for dear life there. As Ortega breaks another one. That's okay. Penalize me. I'll pop it right back.
Yeah, he may have held him there at the end, but, you know, initially it looked like he'd squared up his block.
16-yard gain for Ortega, and just like that, even with the penalty, the Mustangs still have a shot at first down. It's second down and 5, as Ortega found another gaping hole there in the Clark defense. Reynolds, hands to Ortega. They got something going on as he gets a first down. Gary Gutierrez has found a weakness in the Clark D that he wants to just basically saying, I'm going to keep running until you stop it.
Yeah, good old-fashioned smash mouth. There's not anything too crazy going on right here in terms of the unique play calling we saw in the first half. This is just line them up and go.
This time Reynolds keeps, nice little fake. Gains another 6. Matt Miller on the tackle.
And Corey Massey's been in this backfield the last couple of plays, and you're looking to make a play, and then he got in there and almost made the play on the back end too. So you got a lot of hustle from some of these guys from Clark up front.
A little cat and mouse game going on between the two coaches on this. Reynolds fires on the slant. Ball is incomplete. The Clark defender thought he had an interception. They're going to call it an interception, but with his knee down. That's Clark's Matthew Uresti, and sure enough, on the replay, as you let it roll, he's got it, but he had his knee down. He's wondering why you're calling it back, but his knee was on the ground when he had possession. Welcome back to Thursday Night Lights. You're looking at Tom C. Clark High School. It opened back in 1978. Back in black are the Cougs. Mascot the Cougars. Student population is just over 2,700. They're also in the Northside School District. And did you know they were named too for Supreme Court Justice Tom C. Clark, who was an Eagle Scout, they tell me, from Texas. Chuck? The C stands for Campbell.
I didn't know any of that.
Neither did I.
And I got kids that go to Clark.
David Osmo in the booth feeding me in the ear, making me sound like I know what I'm talking about. The man you never want to face in a game of Jeopardy. I'll take U.S. presidents for 1,000, Alex. No, you won't. Not if you're going against David Osmo.
Well, we talked about Don earlier in the game. Clark hadn't won a turnover battle all year, so that was huge for Clark, stopping the J drive, and let's see if they can get something going on offense here.
First down and 10 for the Cougars. Trenton Ford fumbles a snap. Trouble. He's taken down by number 55, David
Ball carried by
Becerro Torres.
stopped by David
We're
Becerro.
seeing a lot of J guys living on the back end of that line of scrimmage here in the second half. Even if he fields the snap cleanly there, I think that was going to be trouble. There were multiple Mustangs in the backfield waiting to thwart that play.
Second and 16 for Ford and the Cougars. But remember, all it takes is number 43 at the right spot. Look out. Valier brought down, not a safety, but they're going to give him forward progress, which might be the 3. But how about that Mustang defense stopping Valier for the first time tonight? Luis Trujillo on the tackle as we check out the University of Incarnate Word smile cam, get a degree of difference at the University of the Incarnate Word. Third down and 18 for Clark.
And on that last play, Don, Clark tried to spread him out a little bit wider, and Jay's not going for it. He had just about every guy in the box on that last play. And so it's going to be one of those situations where Clark at some point, if they want to get some more running room, they may have to put the ball up top.
Valier brought down, close to a safety. Got out of the end zone. He's upset about something.
Ball carried by
He'll spot the ball
Brandon
right at the 1. He's out of the end zone. And he's just on the other side of that goal line when Becerro Torres brought him down. 55 was huge on that series. And Clark's got to kick it away with only about a 9-yard drop for their punter, Sam Carter. Josh Williams back. It's fumbled. Williams picks it up. And the J Mustangs have great field position as we get near the end of the third quarter.
Punt returned by Josh Williams.
You know, after the game, we're going to hand our Player of the Game trophy to probably Brandon Valier if the Cougars win, and maybe Moses Reynolds if it's the John J. Mustangs. But no matter who wins, it's a beautiful trophy, custom designed by Monarch Trophy. If you're looking for trophies, plaques, or custom engraving, call Monarch at 210-344-3777 as Moses Reynolds keeps again, has the 20, has the 17, and the Mustangs are on the move again near the sticks. Almost another first down.
Stopped by
Or Don, since the second half started, everything Jay is running has been near the line of scrimmage up the middle, and it's working almost to perfection on every single play. They're eating up huge chunks of yards each and every play.
And about the time the Cougars are going to figure out this zone read, Gutierrez is going to go to something else. Nice stick right there by the Cougar defense. Number 2, Fernando Amazueca coming up with a nice pop.
But not before Jay's picking up another first down. So, Clark's defense has been on the field a lot in this second half, and they are backed up once again.
That's a Baptist Health System first down inside our Six Flags Fiesta Texas red zone. And Ortega is brought down by the entire Clark defense. Ball come out. Clark was thinking they took it away and it should be Cougar football. So they're going to call it down, and it's going to be second down for Jay. Let's see if he had it. That ball's out.
Indeed it was.
That ball's out. That's Clark football.
Well, didn't they blow it down?
Now, you can't hear the whistles from here. But if
they did blow it down, they blew it pretty quickly. I mean,
yeah,
ball carrier was still moving.
that's the end of the third quarter, and Steve McGee's going to ask Bill Corcoran right now, what happened? That's a turnover. It may have been blown down. Clark leads 20-14. The fourth quarter's next. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. First, let's check out our Hallmark College highlights. Of course, there was the interception. The knee was down for the Cougars. Been no scoring, and then Jay defense answered as Valier was brought down right at the 1 yard line. Here's the replay, full sound. See if the whistle blows before his progress is stopped. Nope, that's a fumble. That should be Clark football, and they just missed it. That's all there is to it. Great job by the guys in the truck. So, if Jay goes on to win this game tomorrow, the Clark Cougars will be talking some trash.
Well, Don, it's like anything else, and I know you've heard Popovich say this a million times with the Spurs. It's not going to be one play that gets you beat.
That's right.
So, Clark needs to D up here and see if they do.
Reynolds keeps. Nice fake. Moses Reynolds, touchdown, Jay. Wow, that was a great fake to Ortega, and then Reynolds found the hole. Chuck, they've been doing that little zone read all throughout the second half.
And Clark is really going for the ball fake every single time, it seems like. And, I think they got to change their mode of operandi, start going for the quarterback and leave the running back alone, because Moses just parted the Red Sea and walked from the end zone for what could be a Jay lead.
Moses Wood with the PAT. That's up and good. Let the record show that Chuck used the first Moses part of the Red Sea reference. We got ourselves a football game. John Jay leads Clark 21-20 in the fourth quarter here on Thursday Night Lights. All right, so reset. John Jay leads Clark 21-20 here on Thursday Night Lights. Two teams, both with 2 wins in district play. This is a crucial district game for both of these two teams who want to make the playoffs in a very tough district with the likes of Warren, O'Connor, Brandeis, and you got to throw Stevens in there as another team with a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, still a lot of work for both of these teams, even the winner, as we said at the onset. Clark starting tonight, a half game out of the playoffs. John Jay, a full game out. But yeah, a loss would be devastating to either one of these two teams trying to make the postseason.
Line drive kick taken by Clark's Luis Barrera. He crosses the 30, and the Cougars will take over at their own 32-yard line with 11:43 here to play. We saw a lot of Brandon Valier in the first half. He ran for close to 200 yards on the night, with 3 touchdowns, lost some yardage, but really not much in the second half. The John Jay defense has done a pretty good job keeping him in check, so sure the Cougars will want to try to get him unleashed here in the fourth quarter.
I mean, they got everybody in the box.
They're going to make Ford prove he can throw it. Instead, he's going to scramble. We know he's got some moves. Trenton Ford reversing his field again. Trenton Ford brought down at the 47-yard line in the J territory after a nifty run. Luis Trujillo finally brings him down. It's a 21-yard run. And Chuck, he's a water bug. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, and if you're Clark, you send a couple of guys deep down the field and then, give your quarterback a little room to run, and that's exactly what they did on that play.
Let's go down to the sidelines and David Chancellor. Chance?
Yeah, guys, it's something to watch here as the last 11 minutes of this game play out. Clark's offensive line is taking a injury hit here. The starting center, number 71, Chris Johnson, is now on the sidelines wearing a boot on his right ankle. Number 56, George Gutierrez, replaces him. And number 75, Logan Lyda, their starting right tackle. You can see here, he is in some obvious pain as he limps off the field with a right ankle or right leg injury as well. And guys, Logan Lyda has had injury issues since his freshman year. Coach McGee telling us before the game, Logan was a kid that they targeted and thought he would be a standout player for at least 2 years, possibly 3 years of his time at Clark, but injuries robbed him of that. He is now playing as a senior, so hopefully he can regroup and get out there as soon as he feels better.
Hassan Lloyd has been banged up the last few plays. He's been hobbling around, and he went as long as he could before he checked out.
Second down and 16 for the Cougars. And Ford's going to keep again. He's brought down by a bevy of Mustangs right there. Jay's kind of arched it back and said, bow it up, getting physical. The Jay Mustang defense led there by David Becerril Torres. Number 55 has just been a beast in the second half.
Well, again, we spoke of Jay playing on the other end of the line of scrimmage here, and obviously if you've got 3 starting offensive linemen out, there's going to be some continuity issues if you're Clark, and trying to figure this out on the fly might be a little difficult to overcome at this point.
They're going to try to figure it out, and they're going to take a timeout. We'll take it with them. Clark trailing Jay now, 21-20 with 10 minutes to play in the fourth. And 13 to go. Jay showing blitz. Ford showing pass. Ford's going to scramble again. Now he's got some space. He stays outside. Jay trying to close it off. Ford dancing, brought down right out about the line of scrimmage. He just ran out of options, and Trenton Ford had nowhere to go.
Luis Trujillo, number 40 for John Jay, doing a heck of a job. He's the quarterback spy in this particular play, and look how long he stays in this play.
Yeah,
There he is.
He's been a guy we've called his number all night long. All right, so Clark's going to be forced to punt. Sam Carter's going to kick it to Josh Williams. Omar Perez also back there. Carter's punt. Perez mishandles, but gets on top of it. The Mustangs will have it at their 15-yard line. Jay wants to go in a hurry here. They're lined up. 9:13 to go. Moses Reynolds will keep it himself again on that little zone read. It's been successful for him. Of course, he scored on that very same play on the last possession for Jay.
And if you're Clark, that's the guy you've got to be keen on. Get the ball out of his hands. Let somebody else beat you at this point, because it was way too easy on that last drop.
Glenn Garcia on the tackle for the Cougars. That brings up second down and 8. Reynolds got a little option thing going, pitches it to Ortega. Ortega gets to the edge, gets out of bounds. May have gained a yard or two, and you see Moses Reynolds limping a little bit as their sophomore quarterback.
Zach Wood doing a nice job getting outside and bringing down the ball carrier out of bounds.
Chuck, this kid is going to be fun to watch in a couple years.
Without a doubt. The one
Moses.
thing, sorry, Don, one thing I'd like to say, though, is It doesn't want to be too much of a hurry. I mean, let that play clock go down a little bit. Don't be in such a hurry to get this thing going. You want to eat up a little bit of his time. You got the lead now.
Fantastic young athlete. Misfires on that pass attempt on third down.
Intended for Isaiah Lloyd.
Had Isaiah Lloyd, but instead, you're right, Chuck, they're going to have to kick it right back to the Cougars. Kyle Lehman's gone in front of Seguin, 17-14 in the third quarter. And New Braunfels still shutting out the San Marcos Rattlers, 21-0 in the third.
It's the one thing if you're Jay. I mean, yeah, you want to maintain the lead, obviously, but you got to work on that clock a little bit, too.
Kyler Hines' punt is going to be looked at by Christian Ariano. He's going to let it bounce. Takes a good J bounce. Right at about the 35-yard line is where they will down it. The Clark Cougars will have it there. 43 yards on the punt. First and 10 for Trenton Ford. Drops back to pass, going deep on first down. And for the second time, almost the exact same post route, he wanted Ramani Bettis, and for the second time he overshot him by about 5 yards.
Not only that, it was pretty good coverage there by number 27, Trey Fontenot, too. They've tried to go with that deep ball a few times, and quite frankly, Jay's done a really nice job defending it.
The Mustang defense has been something to talk about here in the second half. They've done a great job putting 8 men in the box, daring Valier to run it, and taking their chances one-on-one with everybody else. So called quarterback draw, Ford slippery, dancing, trying to get outside, brought down from behind, but not before he picks up about 7 yards. Calvin Coleman ran him down from behind.
And Trenton Ford or Harry Houdini, I mean, he snapped that ball. It was a high snap, and he was a little bit shaken up on the play, but man, there were about 4 or 5 Mustangs back there seemingly right at the snap.
The more you watch him, he's very shifty, but on these last couple of plays, it hasn't necessarily gotten a whole lot of positive yardage. Next week, we've got another good one for you, Indians. He's quite the quarterback, slinging it for some serious yardage. As Valier is brought down after a gain of about 1. What a great job by number 42, Gennaro Coleman, getting in there to make the tackle.
That young man's had himself a night, the linebacker spot. Oh, he came through clean, right in the A-gap, and down goes the ball carrier. See, that it shouldn't be that easy, but when you've had the injuries that Clark has had up front, you know, you're going to have some missed assignments with some young guys probably seeing some of their first action of the year.
If I'm not mistaken, Valier had like 183 yards rushing at halftime. He's only got 190 now, so only 7 yards with your Croatian math in the second half. Josh Williams takes it in at the 16. Josh Williams has some room, crosses the 35, gets the 37, and the Mustangs have the lead and the ball with 6:23 left on Church's Chickens Thursday Night Lights. Welcome back to Church's Chickens Thursday Night Lights. The John Jay Mustangs have the ball and the lead, 21-20 with 6:23 to play.
Jay possession, first and 10 from the Mustang 38-yard line.
And a first and 10 for Moses Reynolds and company. Reynolds hands to Ortega, picks up 2, taken down right at the 40. There's a flag on the play.
Got a personal foul on somebody.
On the offense, 10-yard foul.
It's going to be a hold on the Mustangs. That'll back them up 10 more.
See, I wasn't even assuming there. I saw one rep go to one arm and click the other one, and then they call a hold.
Still first down, but now we've got 20 to go for Moses Reynolds and the young John Jay Mustangs, who've been very impressive in the second half on both sides of the football. They'll let this play clock run. Zone read action again. Reynolds again. And he's got another 5 or 6 yards. I tell you what, Chuck, you know, basically Gary Gutierrez is saying we're going to abandon the stuff that we did in the first half. You know this zone read's coming, but until Clark does a better job of playing it and stopping it, we're going to run it every time.
Yeah, there's no need to change at this point. And they mixed it up a little bit and actually gave the ball to a running back on the previous play, but their bread and butter is to stay with Moses holding the ball for the most part.
Yeah, Moses is doing a good job of reading the defense and handing it when he wants and keeping it when he wants. And Ortega got the corner that time, but he may have gotten some help that is not within the rules as the flag flies. That's a referee.
Flag on the play.
Bill Corcoran threw that himself. May have been another hold.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
And I'm sure it's not a big surprise to the Clark defense either. I mean, we talked about Moses leading the district in total yards. And he can put the ball in the air, but he can also run with the ball. I mean, last week he ran for over 100 and threw for 200.
Look at this. Look at this formation. Are you kidding me? How fun is this?
He's trying to draw him off sides. He's going to wait the play clock go down.
Talk about big splits on your offensive line. 10 yards apart. The one-on-one coverage, he had a guy too who just missed him.
You see a little bit of everything tonight.
You know, when Mike Leach was at Texas Tech, he ran, his offensive line took up basically the whole field. There was about 3 yards in between his linemen. But I've never seen 7 in between the linemen, and that was crazy. Just another ploy to try to get the defense off to one side of the field so you can hit them on the other.
Well, the bad news with that, though, is it stopped the clock, and you're still in a one-point ball game here.
3rd down and a mile for Moses Reynolds, and he's scrambling. Another flag flies. He dropped the football, but he rolled out of bounds.
Flag on the play.
And that came within the where you would normally expect holding as well. Side judge threw his flag a good 25 yards. They want to sign him up for quarterback in the ref league. Reynolds had it taken out of his hands, and Clark had a chance there to jump on it, but the ball got out of bounds before they could recover. Mitchell Globe doing a good job causing that fumble.
Ball is fumbled. Out of bounds forward. Ball will go back to the spot of the fumble. The clock will start on the ready.
So that'll bring up 4th down as we check out Smile Cam yet again. The University of the Incarnate Word. Smile Cam, earn a degree of difference at the University of the Incarnate Word. 4th down and 23 for the Mustangs, who are, again, have the potential of a little trick play here as
Mustang 21.
they've got 3 or 4 linemen over the ball. The rest of the team is acting. Watch closely now. You never know what's going to happen. That ball's on the ready.
Well, if nothing else, they got Valier out of punt formation, and he's on the sideline. So Clark's best return man is not in the game, even if this is a punt.
Take a timeout. Gary Gutierrez let it run down to 0 or 1, and then he called timeout to take as much time after the game. Doubleheader.
Watch on my TV on the way home. On my phone.
And then we got TCU and Oklahoma State on Fox 29. Jay punting it away. And it's taking a bad bounce for the Mustangs. Clark's going to have the ball down 1 in Mustang territory on the J38 with 11 to play. Clark's got a new quarterback in. He hands to Brandon Valier.
Ball carried by Brandon Valle.
Darius McClain on the tackle. Christopher Rollins is the sophomore quarterback in for Clark. I don't know if Ford was injured, but they're going with the young sophomore for now. And
15-yard penalty.
they'll tack on 15 more after a late hit personal foul on the Jay Mustangs.
Ford was warming up on the last possession, so probably does have something to do with some sort of injury to Ford.
Clark possession, 1st and 10 at the Mustang 20-yard line.
All right, so the plot thickens. 3:55 and counting. Clark down 1. 1st down and 10. Their new quarterback, Rollins, hands it off. Valier's got it. He's got 4 yards, brought down there. And that'll bring up 2nd
Ball
down
carried by Brandon
at
Valle.
about 5 or 6.
How about the tough running inside by Valier? Everybody in the ballpark knows he's going to get it. He does. He gets a nice block there up front from his fullback, and then the rest was on his own.
Be interesting to get David Chancellor down there on the Clark sideline to find out if there was an injury at all to Ford, or if this is just a coach's call.
That was a nice block by Brummel, 47.
Rollins a turning pitch. Valier has the edge if he wants it. Gets it. Deals a blow of his own as he gets right down to the 9-yard line. 1st down for Clark.
Brummel went and got a low 5 there from Valier after that play was over, but I think it should have been just the opposite. What a nice ceiling block there by Nicholas Brummel, 47, to spring his ball carrier to the outside.
So the sophomore quarterback, Rollins, leading the Cougars to the potential go-ahead score. 1st down and goal inside our Six Flags Fiesta Texas red zone. I formation to Valier, follows his fullback. Has the 7. That'll set up 2nd down and goal. Luis Trujillo, again on the tackle. Number 40's been everywhere for the Mustangs. 2:47 and ticking.
Clark possession, 2nd and goal from the Mustang 7-yard line.
Well, that 15-yard penalty for Jay is huge at this point.
Yeah. The Cougars have it inside the Six Flags Fiesta Texas red zone. And more than that, they've got 2nd and goal. Rollins, this time hands to the fullback. Crossing the 5-yard line is Nicholas Rummel. And now we've got a real cat and mouse game that's going to go on with the clock. We're inside of 2 minutes. And it's 3rd and goal. And John Jay may be content to say, hey, we're going to have enough time with 2 plays, maybe burn a timeout after this play. Clark coaching staff content to let this play clock run down, although their players on the field are losing patience, but the coach knows what he's doing. Calls timeout with 1 second left. No harm, no foul. That's why coaches are coaches and kids are kids.
That's right. Well, you know, you've got to the point now where you've got to manage the clock. Obviously, if you're Clark, you want to get the go-ahead score, but you don't want to leave any time left on the clock.
Yeah, Warren, who's going to be battling for a district championship, so a little tougher schedule there. So here's what we've got. We've got 1:40 to play and a 3rd and goal for Clark. And the John Jay Mustangs are going to assess their timeout situation because they're going to want as much time as possible left in case Clark gets either a field goal or a touchdown. As we see that Seguina's gone on top of Kyle Lehman, 21-17 in the 3rd. And New Braunfels is over San Marcos 24-7 in the 4th. Big 3rd down for the Clark Cougars. 3rd and goal. Down 1, 21-20.
I think 47's going to get a touch here.
I think 43. Rollins to Valier. Going to try to get the edge. Good job of the Jay defense to string it out, push him out of bounds, which not only negates a first down, but stops the clock, which is key for the Mustangs. Clark would have rather stayed in bounds there and run this clock down. Chris Salas doing a great job defensively, because the one thing you don't want Valier to do is run out of bounds. They could have run another 30, 40 off the clock before they try to kick the field goal here.
I was being facetious. I think everybody in the ballpark knew 47 was getting, or sorry, 43 was getting the football.
Nick Gonzalez will try to put Clark ahead. Trenton Ford, starting quarterback, is the holder. It's down, it's up, and it's good. So the Clark Cougars now have taken the lead 23-21 over Jay with $1:30 to play in this ball game. Nice kick by Nick Gonzalez. And we just hope tomorrow night's games, Chuck, on High School to the Max and Friday Night Fever.
That's what DVRs are for, my friend. You can watch them both.
DVR them both. Watch them both.
Clark, number 88, Tristan Cavazos.
Clark went ahead on that 16-yard field goal by Gonzalez.
Number 8, Josh Williams.
Capped off a 7-play, 31-yard drive. And Chuck, we've seen all night long that Gary Gutierrez has some tricks up his sleeve. Jay's offense can go quickly, no huddle. They'll have 1:30 left. And they only need a field goal to win it if they can get in range. Tristan Cavazos doing the honors for Clark. It's going to be taken short and running out of bounds, stopping the clock. It was Omar Stadium. Church's Chicken Thursday Night Lights, the only place you can watch live high school football in San Antonio. Moses Reynolds is a sophomore quarterback. He's done a great job all night running this Mustang offense, but he's got a chore now. 1:25 left. Moses Reynolds keeps. Moses Reynolds brought down at about the 42, and let's see how quickly the Mustangs can go. It sets up 2nd down and 5.
Ball carried by Moses Reynolds. Jay possession.
Reynolds gets the play called in.
Mustang 48.
We're now at 1 minute to go. Reynolds being very patient. 59 seconds as he looks. Being chased from behind. Reynolds is going to try to get out of bounds. He does, and he has the first down with 49 seconds to go. Zach Wood on the tackle, forcing him out of bounds.
He's got some speed, doesn't he? I mean, it looked like he was in trouble all day long on this one. Clark had a couple of guys that had a chance to make a play, but it's too much speed.
Tell you what, you like his poise for a sophomore. 49 seconds, 1st and 10 at midfield for Moses Reynolds. Reynolds running again, scrambling. He's going for the sidelines. And they'll stop the clock as he gets out of bounds at the 47. That ran 10 seconds though, and it'll be 2nd down and 7 with 39 ticks left.
Yeah, they had a chance to make a play downfield, but you got to help your quarterback a little bit. He's running for his life, and the receivers just kind of gave up on the play a little bit. You're going to do a scramble drill. You know, if you're up, go down, and if you're down, come back.
Got plenty of time to get a play called. 10 to snap it. Fake, seam over the middle, and incomplete. He's looking for Omar Perez on the quick slant.
For Marcus Christie. Jay possession, 3rd and 7.
Sets up 3rd and 7.
47.
And Gary Gutierrez will be using the best play in his playbook now. Leading receiver for Jay has been Omar Perez all year long. He fires. That ball nicely broken up by a Clark defender. Number 10, Sam Carter doing a great job knocking that one down, and that brings the Mustangs to their final play. If they don't get a first down, it'll be over. Unless we have a flag or a defensive penalty.
Well, they're probably going to send a lot of guys deep.
And the coaching staff's going to take a timeout. Your ball game's coming down to one play. Might as well have everybody on the same page.
Yeah, you got to get your quarterback out on the edge so you can either tuck it down and run or try to flip it out to somebody.
Gives us some time to remind you of some games coming up. You know, little Corey since he was a little boy. He's grown up to be a good one.
Got another young man over there that's playing quarterback that's an 8th grader. Wait till you see this kid.
At Somerset?
He's in the school district. He'll be there at some point.
Is he another Detmer?
I don't know how to describe him. He's big, and he's got everything you want, and he's in 8th grade.
All right, here's your ball game. John Jay trailing Clark 23-21, 4th down and 7. Reynolds over the middle, incomplete, and the Clark Cougars will take over on downs, and all they have to do is snap it once to get a huge district win against the John Jay Mustangs.
That was a good hard fight by John Jay and Clark tonight. This has been one heck of a tussle, and you might have thought that this might come down to 1 or 2 plays, and indeed it has. I thought, Don, really, we were going to see a ton of scoring in this game, the way that first quarter started with all the craziness that we saw. But in the end, it comes down to defense, and Clark gets just one more stop.
You got to give the Cougs credit. You know, I'm one of those guys that sits around and watches football on Saturdays and Sundays. I never understand when you have 3rd and 7 why you throw it 4 yards. I always wanted to at least throw it 7. Get the stick. A lot of guys want to throw it underneath and let them run. Not criticizing Gary Gutierrez. He's one of the most brilliant offensive minds I've seen in high school in a long time. His Jay Mustangs showed us a lot tonight with the complexity of their offense. And he's going to do wonders for that program there at Jay.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, like we said, Don, they've got sophomores everywhere on the field. Yeah, nothing but good things for Jay from here on out.
Well, that's our final. The Clark Cougars, in a billing worthy of television on Thursday Night Lights, beat the Jay Mustangs 23-21. So Clark now has 3 district wins. Jay, on the district schedule, they fall to 2 and 4. So that's going to be tough for the Mustangs to make the playoffs. And as you said, the Cougars still have a little bit of work to do. And so do we. We'll give out our Player of the Game trophy and award the team trophy to Coach Stephen McGee when we come back.